listeners, to the BizBlend podcast where strategy meets soul and business growth isn't just about hustle, it is about alignment. Now, today in this episode, we are diving into the world of business development, event management, and influencer marketing with a guest who has mastered all three. Well, he is a Forbes 30 under 30 recognized entrepreneur and the managing director of AMG Media Group. It's a powerhouse 360-degree agency driving growth across Europe's tech, business, health, and even gaming sectors. With over 10 million plus euro in annual marketing budgets, 25,000 plus attendee events, and campaigns that have shaped industries, he's not just building brands, listeners, he's building movements. So, meet my incredible guest, George Kourakos. So, George, welcome to the show.
Well, Sana, it's a pleasure being with you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, listeners, let's quickly dive deep into our conversation. If you're a founder, brand leader, or a marketing pro looking to scale smart and stand out, this conversation is your backstage pass. So great, George. You have led campaigns across wildly different industries. I mean, there's health, then there's gaming, and then there is tech, and that is absolutely awesome. So how do you tailor business development strategies for each industry? I mean, what is the first step that you take? Like, what's your approach, and what remains constant regardless of the niche?
Well, I would say that being able to understand what business development is, it's not something easy. Everyone can do it, but needs a lot of hard work and many mistakes, many challenges actually. So, more or less, for being to different industries, I would say that having a specific kind of business model or a way specific strategy, you can easily adapt to any kind of industry. Of course, the industries need to be a little bit close one to another. So the main industries we, as a business, we do focus on the tech sector. So the health has tech, gaming has tech, and the technology is just tech. So more or less, if you find something common to those kind of industries, you simply can avoid many mistakes or also implement strategies that can help businesses grow, expand to another countries, for example.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Mhm.
Um, and you know, men, like I've seen that brands they struggle with this balance. Like you are into a niche, and then you have to scale as well. So uh, how exactly your playbook it offers clarity into this? Like how exactly you are also into niche, but then you're also scalable.
Mhm. That's an interesting question because this is something that we have been discussed in past with a couple of partners. In order
Okay.
because the truth is that the niche market is the one we consider niche. There are some sectors or some strategies that have specific target audience. But it's true that in Europe that we operate, we have different kind of countries, different kind of cultures, or different kind of people. So for us, in order to understand how a client or a person corresponding to marketing, into business development or something, we simply need to make our research. So what we do is, for example, we say we are based in Greece. Okay, Greece from Germany is totally different.
Yeah.
Greece has more vibe of summer, more cozy, more different way. Germany has more business sector. It's quite different how you approach its kind of industry or market specifically. So for us, I would say that having written down what exactly is the customer profile is the only way to understand the market. So if we have a German guy, a Greek guy, totally different markets. We need to understand the needs, the political situation, the economic situation they are in. So it's quite different. It's time to find the challenges and avoid the problems so you can easily adapt to them.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, that makes it clear. That makes it clear. And George, with large scale events, um, not only it's about turnout, but you know, there is engagement and there is ROI. Um, so what are some of the metrics, let's say two or three or maybe more than that, that you swear by when measuring the true impact of an event?
Hmm. Uh, each kind of activity has different metrics. For example, if we say we want to make a campaign that has to do with social media, which is quite an easy example, we see numbers, impressions, how many eyes have seen our advertisement. But the point is, even in events, for example, the point is to understand if we specifically, this kind of person that see is a target audience. So maybe 1 million people pass from advertisement. Maybe 10,000 people come to our event. The point is, are these people are going to turn into conversion? Are they going to make the actual, let's say, deal or buy the product or participate in the event? So we need those numbers to be more specific for us. So we make the campaigns, we need the strategy more specific
Mm.
for our industry, which is quite challenging, to be honest.
Yeah, right. That's right. And then, let's say because we have so many founders listening to this conversation. Um, so uh, if they're looking to host their first event,
Mm.
what KPIs should they prioritize from the beginning?
The quad question is what kind of event, how many people they would like to approach, what kind of industry. So for me, my point of view is that uh, first you need to understand what is this kind of event you want to do and what do you target. For example, when you make gaming events, you need to attract influencers. You need to attract gamers. So influencer marketing is for gaming events. On the other hand, a tech event, you might need LinkedIn as a platform of advertisement. Might be
Mm.
Facebook. Sorry. Also, if you would like to specific target or vast your exposure, it's up to totally what is your customer profile, who you expect to come to this event. So by doing these kind of questions to yourself, you can easily understand which platform represents you, let's say.
Hmm. And George, as we're talking about even marketing, influencer marketing currently it's noisy. It's
Mhm.
often overhyped. Uh, so how do you filter out the vanity metrics and ensure that influencer partnerships they are genuinely actually driving growth?
Well, that's quite an interesting question, and it's not just a podcast of 30 minutes, for example, but hours. The
I know.
truth is as influencers are people that have followers. The only problem to that is that you need to understand if these kind of followers are active. So if someone maybe has 1 million followers.
Mhm.
Are they actually followers that if they call one time, guys, I'm gonna be in this square for a couple of hours, come and meet me. How many they're gonna come?
Hmm.
So what we do is that we have, for example, 1,000 contracts of influencers. All of them, the question is, all of them are valid, all of them are excellent? No. The quality is that the truth is that they're no. But in terms of numbers, they can represent numbers. How many percent that we expect each time for them to become the return of investment for someone to make a deal, for example, or buy a product? I would say the 3% of 3% of their followers. So if someone, for example, says we have 100,000 followers, I would say the 3,000 to 3,000. So in terms of numbers, I would say 300 people, for example. If we say that this campaign costs a specific 1,000 euros, 300 people, they might buy the product. So by having these numbers, or maybe sometimes less, I would say we focus on understanding which influencer is the right one. Of course,
Hmm.
there is then a condition that says try and error all the time. So we try it all the time. We evaluate the numbers. We see how they respond. We see how professional they are. Because, for example, last week I had a partnership with an influencer that has 5,000 followers. The conversion rate numbers on sales was excellent that someone has 100,000 followers, which is amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah. So like this.
Yeah, and I think that that's quite a very fundamental and actually a good approach to this, because you are absolutely right. That's, I think, the whether it's a genuine followership, a genuine engagement or not, I think it definitely can be tested. Um, and George, do you have any, like, would you like to share any success story or um, case study, or let's say a campaign that you have led and it has, um, absolutely surprised you with its success, or some kind of learning that you have had from that one?
I would say that I have numbers. For example, in terms of events, for example, last month we had the opportunity of making a huge booth event of 150 square meters in 2 days. I have a huge client in terms
Okay.
of tech. I don't know if I should mention it, but doesn't matter. It's a tech company, mobile tech company, one of the biggest, top four in the world. And they called me at night, 12 o'clock at night, George, I need your help. And I say, okay, I can help you. I want to make you me a booth. And I say to me, when? In 2 days. Ah, okay. So the funny part was that in that condition, if we were not ready to have this kind of implementation, make a booth, make an event for them in 2 days, we couldn't make it. So planning and execution can happen on the day, can work for months. But the point is that are you anytime ready for someone to call you and help them make this happen? In another way, for example, a good success story was the events we were making and the events we make. For example, some major music festivals, some major tech events. Uh, I consider important to that by using influencers in a correct way, investing budget and making good strategies, we maximize viewership up to 40 million people. So with the numbers for an event to go up to 40 million organic people just by influencer marketing is amazing. So
Hmm.
these numbers, they help us to understand the importance of the correct way of having your brand, the correct way to have your business and the model. So anyone who wanna make an event, a new event, I would say that focus down. What are your needs? What are the experts you would like to focus? How you can approach them? And if you need help, we are here to help, for example.
Hmm. Oh, yeah, yeah, correct. And George, with the AMG Media's 360-degree approach, um, how do you ensure that cohesion across departments, especially when scaling across different countries, like you mentioned in the beginning, or running simultaneous campaigns? How exactly it is maintained? Because that can be really tough.
It's not easy. The truth is that it's not easy. And the point is that we simply have excellent personnel trained to do anything they can't. So more or less, I would say that our personnel is split it into groups to handle different kind of sectors and different kind of industries or countries. So by this, we correspond in a way that is more applicable and we formulate our strategy quite different. For example, when a person, an account manager, has to do with the German market or the Central Europe market, he doesn't go, for example, to the more Balkan way, the Greece, Bulgaria, Albania, all these countries. So because he is focused there, we don't need to take him back to us, to this region, because it's gonna confuse him how he should respond and how people correspond in this way. Exactly.
Mm, mm. Great, great. George, it's a very, very learning episode. Very, um, lot of insights from this conversation. So, if our listeners they would like to connect with you for further exploring more and also explore more about the work AMG Media 360 Degree is doing, what will be the best way?
The best way is just go by the website AMG Media, Middle Square Media.gr. There they can find us. They or also by LinkedIn. They search me by George Kourakos. They can easily help them and make it happen.
Wonderful. I'll make sure to have all the links in the show notes for the listeners. And George, I feel this was a masterclass in modern marketing, strategic growth, and the kind of visionary leadership in the industry that is needed right now. So, thank you so much for your refreshing, actionable insights, and of course, hard-earned lessons. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure, and I'm sure that everyone listening to this kind of podcasts can understand how maybe they follow their steps. And of course, guys, healthy mind is the point. So consider it.
Thank you. Thank you for adding that, George. So, listeners, if you are ready to launch, scale, or partner with purpose, just refer to the show notes along with this episode to connect with George and explore more about uh, his company, AMG Media's 360 Degree. And also, um, before we wrap up, a huge thank you to all of you for being a part of this podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, do subscribe, share, and leave us a review on your favorite platform. Let's keep the blend going until next time. Thank you.